Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney. I go by Courtney on Posh on all platforms. And today I have my PFF April with me. April, where can we find you?
So I'm all over the place. My closet name and anywhere on Instagram, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, anywhere you can really find me, I'm Clove Caddis. So Clove_N Caddis. But I also do a podcast, which is The Reseller's Voice. So you can find me there too.
And the Reseller Voice drops every Wednesday. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely have to. It's a must listen to. April, how long have you been reselling for?
So I started reselling September of 2018. I jumped into reselling because I had to come up with $1,000 for my son's 8th grade DC trip. A lot of, the schools and everything does that. It's not necessarily 8th grade, but they send their kids off to some trip or whatever, and ours does DC. And there's always the, the fundraisers. There's the, paper and candles and cookie dough and the same stuff everybody else is selling for every other fundraiser. And I personally never buy any of it because I have too much of all of that stuff. So I was trying to come up with a way to make money that I didn't have to subject him to going door to door, because that's not his thing. He's highly introverted now. So that's how I kind of came up with the money, was I started reselling. I was doing mystery shopping before. So I kind of had a good flow of extra side hustle cash coming in. So I didn't have to put any of my own personal money into it first, which was nice. And I don't think a lot of people do. I was able to scale really quickly because of that.
You said that you got started because of one of your little ones, and I know that you have one of your bigger ones, but I know you have 3
little
kids. How do you juggle that with Poshmark and your full-time job and all the things?
I have no idea. I I don't sleep a lot. The little one keeps me up a lot at night. And I honestly have no idea how I get it all done. I try to prioritize, and I have gotten really good at prioritizing. I actually have a resource that's coming out fairly soon. That's a prioritization hierarchy. So if you have a really hard time figuring out what the heck you're going to do with the 5 minutes of the time your children have given you, that's how you figure it out. And a lot of it is money based or deadline based. So
I love that. So when it comes to Poshmark, you have 5 minutes. What's your number one thing you're going to do?
If I have 5 minutes, I'm probably going to list something.
What if you have 10 or 20 minutes?
If you have 10 or 20 minutes, you can easily get a lot of photographing done, or actually going out and roughing out the, your listings. So my general process for Poshmark is I try to get if I have an hour, I go in and I photograph all of my items. And then after photographing, so I'll do 5 items or 10 items, and I'll put them all on the mannequin, do fronts, backs, and all of the cover shot type photos. Then I will go and I'll do all the tags and the measurements. I take pictures of my measurements while I'm doing my tags, because then they're in my phone right with the rest of the listing. And I don't have to write them down, so I can't lose that piece of paper because they're already there. And then I just delete them out of the photos of the listing if I don't have room for them, or my feet are in the photo, or whatever other chaos is in the photo. But that way it kind of streamlines it. And then I have hundreds and hundreds of photos already in my phone. I will upload those to Google Keep then. Google Keep has an OCR reader, so it reads all your tags for you. And then you don't have to draft those out. Those are already drafted for you. So I try to keep things off my phone that point. After I've uploaded it to Google Keep, then I'll re-download it when I'm ready to list it. And half of my listing is already done because the OCR reader read it. So it's kind of it's like a constant flowing process. I always use the analogy that I try to shove Poshmark through my cheese grater of life, because it's literally through every little tiny hole that I can do. So yeah, it's 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, listing up until late at night. So, but I do have a virtual assistant to share my closet, because that was really taking up too much time. So
right, that is, yeah, I full-heartedly agree with that. I think too, that's such a good solid advice about you call it the OCR reader?
Yeah. So I don't remember what OCR stands for, but it's like, it's an optical caption recognition or something. I don't know the technical term for it. But it does read the tags for you. So it will read like all of the fabric content for you, or like made in the USA, or like any of that, so that you don't have to do that.
Cool. I'm going to link Google Keep down below, because I think that's something that we all need to check out, because I've never heard of that. And I think that's going to completely change my listing process. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. I actually found out about that from the Resellers the water cooler, Resellers water cooler, that podcast that was out last year that's not back right now. And I'm so sad. But I think it was Sam that does that process. Sam or Jen, one of the two of them.
It's on my list, so
yeah.
I have all the time in the world right now.
Everybody has lots more time right now, yeah.
So on a regular day, when we're not all at home, how do you integrate sourcing into your daily schedule?
So I only source, so sourcing changed for me, and I work full-time, but I work full-time from home or our workshop. So I'm able to kind of have a very fluid schedule. And I feel like my schedule is very much changing. I have an 8.5-month-old, he'll be 9 months old in a couple weeks. But I feel like I have not had a set schedule for the past 1.5 years while I was pregnant or after I had him, or now that we have coronavirus. Like every time I think I have a schedule, it changes. So right now I try to base my sourcing schedule on when items are on sale, because I hate paying full price for items. It really irritates me. So my closest thrift is like 10 minutes up the road, and they have had really good pricing this year, but their pricing changes on Monday. So I try to drop the kids off at daycare, which I don't know if I have daycare anymore. I don't now, but even after coronavirus, I don't know if I have daycare. So then I will drop them off, go sourcing for an hour or two there, and then come back into work, get some full-time work done. And then that afternoon, after I have relieved some of my to-do list on that, then I'll do my inventory process. So I take a picture of the cost of all of my items, like with the name brand tag and the size tag, and then a little bit of fabric around it, so that I can easily identify how much every item is. And that way I never lose the cost of an item, because as an accountant, which is what my full-time job is, it drives me insane to not have an accurate cost of goods and inventory.
I think that's excellent advice. That's something I think a lot of us need to work on who are not accountants. I think bookkeeping and all of that is probably the number one thing I hear about people talk about on Instagram when it comes to this side of the business. So that's definitely a one-up you have on us.
Well, and so it's a really good way. If you don't love data entry and you hate to do spreadsheets, because I know a lot of people are very spreadsheet averse, it's a very easy way to take 2 seconds to just record that cost of goods. I don't delete those out of my phone. I upload them to Google Keep, but I just don't delete them either. So I have them in my phone all the time. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't remember exactly how much this item is. I don't love that Poshmark doesn't allow the cents for an item, and they make you round up or round down. That really kind of grinds my gears. So, because it's not an accurate number to me. I mean, I know the IRS really does allow you to round up or round down. But to me, if I'm going to be making offers and stuff, I want an accurate price. I don't want to like round up or round down. So everything is my phone, and I can easily go look it up if I have to.
I love that. So going back to the thrift store real quick, when you go in, what is the first section that you're going to hit?
I used to hit shoes. Shoes was like, and it's everybody's favorite to hit shoes. But I have become so averse to cleaning shoes that I should probably go into those Poshmark reseller groups right now. Or not Poshmark, but the Facebook reseller groups that are popping up. And I should probably just sell all of my bins of great finds of shoes, because I just don't clean them. I will put it off as long as possible. I've really been grooving on dresses recently. Like dresses are like my favorite thing. And some of it's advice from you, and some of it is advice from Dress Confidently. her Instagram username, and she has really, really good advice also on like what she sources and how she sources it, especially for like online arbitrage.
Yeah, she is so good at that. So when you list your dresses, I noticed that you love mannequins. Is it hard?
I do love my mannequin.
Is it hard to get the items on the mannequin?
No, not really. I mean, so my mannequin is getting old. Like her base is getting very wobbly. Marge is a little loose.
Marge?
Yeah, she's Marge from The Simpsons. I really need to find her like the good beehive, you know, like good beehive hairdo, because that's, yeah, she's Marge. But I don't find it like horrible. I would much rather do a dress than do a jumpsuit.
Oh.
And the only ones that I have a hard time getting on are like if it's too small. So if it's too small, I generally just hang it up and do a flat lay. I don't love flat lays though, because they kill my back and legs. You have to be really physically fit to do flat lays because it's like yoga all day long. It's like an 8-hour yoga course. And I know I don't have time for 8 hours of yoga. But yeah, I do love the dresses, and the plus size dresses. I have like binder clips. And so I'll put them on there and then I'll just binder clip up the back, or I do pins and make them look like they fit. And I find they sell a lot better that way. If you make it look like it fits on the mannequin, even if you're creating the hourglass dress will never have, if you clip it that way, it sells better.
I love that. That's a really good tip. When you're measuring, do you do that on the mannequin or do you lay it down and measure that way?
I do flat lays for like all of my measurements, because I don't feel like if you're measuring on the mannequin that is an accurate measurement, because the fabric can stretch if it's a stretchy fabric, or if it's a dress that way does not fit the mannequin, it's definitely going to affect how it measures on the mannequin. But I do like the underarm to underarm, and then I do waist, shoulder to hem length, and hips occasionally if I'm feeling like I can remember hips.
Yeah.
I need to have like a poster of Shakira.
It's a lot of info, but I think as a shopper, as someone who's 5'10", if I am able to know, especially with jeans and like jumpsuits and things, I have to know that, or I can't shop that person's closet, because otherwise it's going to look like I'm waiting for a flood. So I know you're really digging dresses right now, but when I was stalking your closet, I noticed that you've sold some pretty high priced jackets. Do you have any tips or tricks for jackets?
So this is actually the whole story behind the jackets just came out today in the Reseller's Voice. So I am a big outdoors person. I grew up in Wyoming, and so I am like a nut for outdoors. And there is a TJ Maxx offshoot called Sierra Trading Post. And I went to their January clearance sale, which you can get a lot of the really good brands that you find at TJ Maxx at Sierra Trading Post if you have one nearby, because nobody knows about Sierra Trading Post. But anyways, I bought all of these coats at the January clearance sale, and I way spent over for them. I got really excited, like panic hit me, and I way blew my budget on them. I spent like $4,000 on like 30 jackets. They were Hunter and Barber, and there was another I got an UGG one. I way spent too much money on them. And because it was Sierra Trading Post, and this is not ethical, but I did it anyways. And, if you're spending that much money, it's hearsay, whatever, is I waited 30 days and I listed them. And if they didn't sell, then the ones that I thought weren't going to sell, I took back to the store. So, and they put them out the next year and they're all sold now. So, they had to store them for a year, not me, but I also stored a lot of those stinking jackets for a year and then they sold, but I didn't make hardly any money on them.
Okay.
So,
well, talking about spending $4,000 in one trip, do you have a budget that you normally do stick to?
Not $4,000. I have a really hard time controlling my spending. I get so excited when I go thrifting. Thrifting is very mentally, like, it's my mental health time. It really is. I'm an investigator, like Myers-Briggs and Enneagram, all of those. I am 100% an investigator, and I love to hunt down things and find them and then research them and figure out how much it is. Like the hunt of it is the whole reason I love reselling. The listing and photographing and all. I like money too, but I mean, all the rest of it is kind of like, I have a hard time forcing myself to do it, which is why my death pile is so big. Like hundreds of items. But I try to keep it under $300 to $400 a month. That doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it's like $700. And I'm not going to, like, if I have tapped out my budget, then I'm not going to not buy something just because my budget is tapped out. I do have a separate bank account just for Poshmark and reselling. And if the funds aren't there, then the funds aren't there. I will invest personal money into my business, but I have to transfer the money first. And that's a pain. So
Yeah.
That's kind of my stopgap. Like, okay, you're out of money. So now you have to go transfer money. So you better, go to CVS, pull the cash out, go, and do it that way. But yeah, I do try to have some form of a budget, but it's very loose.
I like that though, because I also have 2 separate accounts and I do it the same exact way, where if I've gone over my budget, then I have to go and take money from my personal account, and it makes it harder. And so it's really effective for
It is effective
for me.
It is effective. You have to really think about whether or not you want that item, whether or not it's gonna, bring you enough profit. Like it really stops you. That, or if I run out of money by like week 2 of my month of sourcing, then I kind of take a week off. And then if I get the jitters, then that last week I'm outsourcing, but I haven't spent 4 weeks of money. I've only spent 3 weeks of money that
Yeah. So sourcing is your favorite. What is your least favorite part of the process?
Shoe cleaning, obviously.
If it wasn't shoe cleaning, since you don't do your shoes anymore.
Yeah, because I'm going to sell all those. The least favorite part of the process is probably drafting listings. My husband always told me that I should write children's book, but I'm horrible at grammar and I really don't take the time to go back through and proofread things. So I guarantee all of my listings, like if I could be on Shop Beth's Jeans, like the worst, listings ever all the time, I would hit it every week because I guarantee there is so many typos in all of my listings. Like I just don't proofread them. That's
do you ever go back in and try to fix them, or is it just what it is?
Well, I do, and I did a better job. When I was sharing my own closet, I would go back in and fix them more than I do now. But since I don't have the visibility of my closet like I used to because I'm not sharing it all the time. Like I share my closet maybe once a day if I get around to it. Like if I could spend 15 minutes sharing my closet or 15 minutes listing, I'm going to spend 15 minutes listing. So I don't catch those typos as much as I should until the item's sold. And then it's set in stone typo. So
yeah.
It's like one of those things. Like when I quit my job because I'm financially independent, then I can go catch my typos.
All right, April, if you could only thrift one brand for the rest of your life, what would your dream brand be?
I would probably thrift Arc'teryx.
Ah, yes. As a rock climber, snowboarder, hiker, I full-heartedly agree with you. Holy smokes. And I feel like not as many people know about that because it is
nobody knows
this outdoor thing. But yeah, Arc'teryx is very expensive and its resale value is also up there.
It's hard to find. So before I was a reseller, Arc'teryx is something that I would pick up if I could find it on eBay or Facebook or anywhere. Like anywhere I can find it, I'll pick it up. And I don't resell it a whole lot because I tend to keep it if I find it. I have found 3 things Arc'teryx. My husband fit in one of them and he was super excited. Actually, he gets all my Lululemon.
So does my husband.
I can't find Lululemon for myself, but I find it for my husband. Yeah. It's like, I think I've sold like 3 things that are Lululemon. And the other brand that I've never found that I would love to find would be Spell and the Gypsy. Like that one, I will probably hyperventilate. I did find Burberry right before coronavirus hit, but that's going to have to wait till next year because it's a bomber jacket. It's really cool. It needs a little bit of work, which is why it's going to have to wait till next year. But I did find Burberry, which was fun. But yeah, Arc'teryx would be my number 1.
That is awesome.
If that was the only brand for me to sell.
I love that that's what you said, because that is just, I'm very outdoorsy. And so I just completely identified with that. An answer that I feel like no one else would give me, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to get a lot of, let's see, what are good ones that everybody kind of, I mean, everybody wants to find Burberry. Every Instagram post is going to have your other answers.
Spelling the gypsy.
Yeah, that one's in there, I'm sure. But that one I think would be fun. I think it's I love the vibe of their dresses. I really do.
I love it. I actually just bought 3 pieces, resale, not from the site, but it's just it's the vibe. It's so,
yeah.
I live in California. What about 3 brands that used to move really well for you that you no longer pick up?
Okay, so I no longer pick up. This might change with coronavirus though. So, because we haven't been able to go thrifting, I don't pick up Athleta anymore. I kind of got burned on Athleta. I bought a wholesale box. It was supposed to be the North Face, and it was not. It was Athleta at North Face Coats prices. And so I have a lot of Athleta that I know I'm going to lose money on it or break even. Like so I don't pick up Athleta. Vineyard Vines, I have to think twice about, especially with Target coming in. Stuart Weitzman is the other one. And even Ferragamo, I won't necessarily pick up. Like I really have to check the comps on those. So.
Well, I had so much fun talking to you. Before we take off, though, I want to know, this is all about PFFs and community. So I'd like to take a peek into your community. Who are 3 people that you would like to highlight?
3 is really hard because I feel like all of my soulmates are on Instagram and on Poshmark. Like I have met so many incredible people, incredible women. Canary in the Goldmine is way up there. We have connected on a level because of our children. She helps keep me sane. The other person that I just love, like love, is Ween Lisa. And I think you see us banter back and forth all the time on Instagram. But yeah, she's definitely a soulmate type. Like I just want to be around her, and she's across the country from me. XO Rachel is another one. I love her. And I love how genius she is. She has done a great job branding herself outside of just being a reseller. So I love her genius, and I love her tips, and I love to just see her growth personally. So I think that's 3. I have another PFF who's very small, but she lives like in the same city as I do. Like we go to the bins and stuff together, and that is Good Flip Shop. Good Flip Shop, I think, is her Instagram handle. It's either Shop Good Flip or Good Flip Shop. She flipped it around on Instagram and Poshmark, so it's like you never know which is which. So she's kind of been out of the game recently, and she really needs a good kick in the pants as far as getting back into it.
I'm going to link everybody that you said down below so that we can easily get to all of them and give them some love as well. Thank you so much, April, for taking the time out of your day.
So much for having me on. It was awesome. I was really excited when you said, hey, come and do a video, because I've never done video before. So this is my video debut, and I'm sure it's just as intimidating to me as when I have somebody come on the podcast. So it was great to talk to you, and awesome. And I loved your questions, and I hope that this series gets a lot of views, because I think the whole Meet the Posher thing is a great subject right now to have. So thanks for having me on.
Of course. I think too, it's so interesting to see how everyone operates their business, because we are so different, and there are so many things that we can contribute to each other. So I really appreciate you coming on today. Friends, if you have not checked out The Reseller's Voice, it drops every Wednesday. I'm going to link it down below. Please check it out.
Bye.